Welcome. You are listening to Humans of Mitti Ke Rang, and today we are in conversation with Mr. David France Mundo from France. He is a feel-good travel blogger, a digital content creator, and likes to be called as a world citizen. Tune in to know more about his life and journey and travel experiences so far. We get to the questions.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, and but thanks for having me already first. And yeah, let's do it.
I know the very basics of French, so let me try. Bonjour.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
What time is it there?
What time it is now in France?
Yes.
Like 2:45 p.m.
Oh, I don't know what good afternoon is called. Sorry.
Actually, good afternoon. We don't have it. Hello as well. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
So it's still bonjour. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a travel blogger and a content creator and an influencer as well, and you are very particular about being called as a feel-good travel blogger. So if you could tell us the reasoning behind this.
Why usually I don't say just I'm a travel blogger, but I'm a feel-good travel blogger? Because I actually choose to focus on the feel-good of my travels. I don't only want to report about the things I see around the world. I really want to put the spotlight on the good things. There are many travel bloggers nowadays, and so if I was just being one more travel blogger, I would not think it's so relevant to do it. It would not be so relevant for me to spend time into it and for people to follow me, unless you met me, but if not, why? Why me? So for me, it's much more important to put the focus on the feel good. So it's about the feel good in my travels and feel good in general. And with internet is really good, but unfortunately you have as well many bad things that you can see, like bad news, people a bit harassing each other and sharing a lot about the bad things, like hating each other, blah blah. So I'm really like the opposite. So if like most of the time what happens in my travels is very good, but of course sometimes it can happen that something is less good. Usually I will not talk about it. I'm the opposite of people who just talk about the bad things. Basically I try to talk only about the good things. So, and even if one day I have to talk about something that was not so good, I will always try to show the positive side, because there is always a bright side. So either at that moment we learn, or for the future to know how to adapt and things like this. So yeah.
Right, that's very nice, because people often don't try to think positively and they don't try to see the good side of things. They always focus on the bad, and even media nowadays just focuses on the bad. So what defines feel good to you exactly?
Sorry?
What defines feel good to you?
Feel good is something that makes you feel good. So it can be feeling good at this moment when the things happen, or when you read as a reader, or in the future. Like there are things, for example, I don't know, maybe there is like what I try to show. It can be about things that I see, that I think it's a good thing. Like, I don't know, like I like to show like smiling people. So just to see the smiles, on all the interaction. At first I actually wanted to show just the people, mainly the people at least. I really didn't want it to be about me. That's why my page is called Explore Feel Good. And originally my name was David France Mundo, and I tried to find a name that is not about me, about others. So at first I was thinking only to show others. Then the thing is, I realized that people actually like it when they see me interacting with the locals. So that's why I keep this name that I really like, but I'm a bit more in the spotlight with the people, because I'm just like my viewers who check my account. It could be them if they were there, So I want to show how people interact with foreigners. Yes, I'm traveling mainly out of France, and usually in countries like that are much different from mine, like not Caucasian. So yeah, I want to show people how it's possible, and that there are friendly people everywhere, And actually, one thing I've noticed, like many times when I tell maybe in detail we will talk later how I travel, but many times when I tell people how I travel, when I reach a new country, people say, oh wow, this is amazing, but in this country, in my country, it will not work. And that's the thing, because people don't interact with others. You have your daily life and you don't need others. They don't think you need help because you're local. And so I really want to show that there is beauty everywhere, that there are nice people everywhere. And most people are actually really nice. So, yeah.
Yes, definitely. And you like to be called as a world citizen. So why is that?
Because I'm not only a traveler, I'm a world citizen. Why I say that? Well, I really believe so. So far, I've visited 64 countries. So this I would say as a traveler. But in those 64, there are 18 where I have spent at least 3 months. And in those countries, minimum 3 months in the country, including minimum 1 month in one city. So, for example, I was in India. The last country I was before coming back to France, I was in India, and I was there for like 4 months, I believe. No, 5 months. Yeah. So 3 months traveling and 2 months in Kolkata. I was supposed to stay longer actually, but because of the pandemic, I took a repatriation flight to go back to France. But yeah, so I do this. So that's why world citizen. Like I want to spend time in the country, not only to visit it as a tourist traveler, but as well to really understand the culture. Like if you live somewhere, for me, you have to live at least 1 month somewhere to really understand the culture, to like really make local friends, like real friends, not just people you meet randomly, and to take the habits. You know, when I arrive many times people ask me, what are you going to do for 1 month here or 2 months here? I'm like, well, I'm gonna do like you know. So I'm gonna meet people. I'm gonna go to eat with them. I'm gonna practice sports. I'm gonna follow the local news. When I move to a new country, I start to watch local movies as well, and like ways to understand the country. And usually, for me at least, I don't know if it would be for everyone, but for me, it takes around 1 month to really understand, like get habits. So let's say for 1 month, I'm learning a lot. And when I stay longer, it depends. Sometimes I stay more than 1 month in a city. When I stay longer, then I really enjoy. The first part is to learn, which is very interesting for me. And the second part is more to enjoy. So that's why I would say world citizen, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to talking.
One thing I forgot. And as well, I've been learning languages. So now I'm not focusing on this anymore, but from 2008 to 2016, more or less, I was doing something that was called Around the World in 80 months, so 80 months, because there was a book Around the World in 80 days of Jules Verne, the famous French book. And so mine was Around the World in 80 months and 8 languages. Before starting, I knew 2 languages, French and English. And during those 80 months, I only went to countries where they were speaking a language I wanted to learn. So some I learned very well, some I learned just a few sentences. But even though it would help me like to meet more people, to understand more of their culture. And now I'm not with this anymore, and but I'm still traveling to more places and still willing to know the local culture like I did with India.
Right. So which languages have you learned so far?
So the ones I can really speak, French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. I would add Russian, like I can communicate in Russian. I would make many mistakes, but I can be understood. And then I tried as well German, Japanese, Chinese Mandarin, and Arabic. But those 4, I don't speak them. I can just handle with a few sentences, you know. And with time you start to forget a bit, but when you go back to the country, you remember at least to understand. It's much easier again.
Yes.
Yeah. And for world citizen, last thing I was thinking, if I make the connection with India, where you're from, first I started with Rajasthan 1 month, and then I went to I have a blank, to Nagaland. And when I was telling the people I met in Rajasthan I was going to Nagaland, maybe half of them didn't know about Nagaland. And I was a bit shocked. So that's why sometimes, actually many times when I leave a country, people tell me, oh, you know the country better than me. Okay, man, not the culture by itself, but like many things, like because you have an interest. Like I have the same thing reverse in France. I don't know France so well, but I know many countries around the world, So yeah, I have this attraction for outside. And when it's near your place, you always think, oh, I can do it later,
Yes.
But yeah, so I try really to have I know when I move to a country, usually I know for how long I'm gonna stay there. And then, so that's why I'm more willing to go every day to do something, to learn something new, and not think, oh, another day,
Right. Absolutely.
And this way, last thing I forgot to say, this way actually it gives me the feeling why I do it for myself, my point of view, not only to understand, but it gives me a feeling that I have several lives. I have very different habits when I'm in a country or another one, since I want to adapt. So I still stay myself, but I get from the daily local life, and yeah, I have this feeling that I'm living different lives.
Yes. So I have a question related to that, but before that, if you could tell us that you said you have visited 64 countries, and what was your experience like? Which countries did you visit?
Well, there are so many that it's hard to sum up in a few words. I can tell you the countries where I have spent at least 3 months, since there are only 18, so it will be faster.
Sure.
So if I try to do by continent, so minimum 3 months. So it can be 3, 6, there are more. So USA, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Austria, Germany, Ukraine, Russia, Morocco, Egypt, India, China, Japan, Taiwan. I think I'm done. I think this is 18, minimum 3 months. And some others were maybe 2 months, 1 month, and so on. My way to travel, most of the time I'm actually traveling hitchhiking. So hitchhiking, maybe I have to explain because some people don't know about it. So usually we say hitchhiking, some people call it drifting, basically autostop in French. Basically, let's say I want to go out of Kolkata to go to New Delhi. So I will go on the road. I will probably first go towards the end of the city. And of course, on the side of the road where people have to drive to go to New Delhi. And then I will stand on the side of the road. I don't know anybody. I didn't make contact before. And I will just stand and make a move with my hand. So it depends on the countries. Many, like Western countries, you will do a kind of thumb up, but showing the direction where you want to go. Some other countries, you just ask people to slow down. And yeah, you have to adapt for this. And yeah, basically you make people who are driving understand that you want them to stop and you would like to go in their car or in their truck, whatever, in the same direction. So usually I do that. So this way it's free. So people take me for free. But of course, I don't ask them to drive me where I'm going, just in the same direction. So I ask them where they are going. I tell them where I am going. And we see if we are going in the same direction, maybe for 2 kilometers, 10, 50, whatever, we go in the same direction. And when our roads will split, then they just have to drop me there. And from there, I will find another driver. This I will do this way exactly in India. In some countries, like in Western countries, usually I actually ask my driver to drop me at the last gas station on the road, on the highway. Because on a gas station, people are stopped and they have much more time to listen to you and to start to trust you, because they think people have to trust you. So it's easier if people are trust you and are stopped then. So gas station is the best. If not, I try to go to traffic lights. When it's red light, I have 30 seconds, 1 minute, depends, to try to explain myself to people. So, of course, it's better if you talk the language. But for example, I could not speak any like Hindi or whatever, but I could still hitchhike all around India. And yeah, you can make some gestures even if people don't speak your language. Sometimes they will speak English, but sometimes no. But just you explain them. Nowadays, almost everybody has a smartphone, so I show them with Google Maps. First, I look on Google Maps how to go, and I show them and I check where they are going. Eventually, I make them type the name if I don't know. And yeah, so this helps as well. And yeah, so mainly hitchhiking to move. Basically, as long as there is land, I'm hitchhiking. And to sleep, I mainly spend the nights with locals doing couch surfing. So COUCH, like a couch, surfing. So it's a website and an app. that you use to find people to host you for free at their home for a few days, like 1, 2, 3 days. Like you send them a request, you tell them who you are, and you ask them if they would like to meet you and to host you at their home for a few days. So it's not only a good way to save money, of course, but not only. The thing is, it's about again a cultural exchange. This way, staying with someone, I will learn a lot more than if I was staying by myself. That's why even if I was rich, I would not stay all the time in hotels, because when you're alone, you go to the hotel, you take flight. It's not the same way to learn things. So you stay with real, and some people wonder, but why do they host you if you don't give them money? Because they get other things. They get a friend. They get eventually to practice a language. So usually we speak the same language in this case, of course, because it's not only to sleep. So they would speak English usually, or maybe they speak French. So we practice the language. If I know as a guest how to cook, I can show them how to cook. Or I can share travel stories, or I can share travel tips, or many things like this. So mainly I do this.
That's quite a cultural exchange going on.
Yeah.
You just get the full experience.
Yeah, that's why I travel. And to be honest, that's partly why I left India because of pandemic. Because in India, like in every country in the world, when the pandemic hit, people started to be afraid. So they were even afraid of their neighbors, but before that, afraid of foreigners. And that's why I thought I would, for a few months, the situation will not be the same. And as a foreigner, usually I'm very well welcome. But during the pandemic, it's not the same. It's like the contrary, like, oh, foreigner, maybe bringing disease. So that's why partly I left, because that's why most travelers around the world decided to go back home eventually. Other than health reasons, it was because it would not be fun anymore to travel this way. So if you just go to visit touristic sites, okay, you still visit. But if you go like me to meet local people, yeah, this is very important for me. And so, I needed that.
Right. And so as you said that you like to live different lives. So, and obviously you've been exposed to so many different cultures. So is there anything that you have learned from these cultures that you still follow to this day?
Yeah, actually, that's the thing. Like, of course, you have to be open-minded. If you are open-minded, you actually learn a lot from the people you meet. Whatever you want it or not, actually, but if you want it, you learn even more. And there are things that you change, your habits can change. Sometimes they change for short time, sometimes they change you for definitely. And there are things, for example, I cannot tell you from which country exactly, but I know that when I started traveling, I was not like this. Like, I'm much more willing to talk to random people on the streets, just like this, like to give a smile, like usually French people, maybe, we don't go to random people to talk to them. And actually, I remember the first time I was shocked, but in a good way. Well, that's when I went to the USA. At that time, I had red shoes, and several times on the streets, I remember, for example, one guy, he was on the other side of the street, so 20 meters away, maybe more, and just crossing path like this, and he was like, "Hey man, I love your shoes." This in France, I would never hear it, because then you think if people tell you something like this, wait, what? So he wants to steal them, or he's hitting on me, something like that, but not random. So this, or I had a shirt written France, and same thing. Oh, hey, Frenchy, hey, So so this, for example, now more easy, I will talk to people. And for example, before, I don't know if you share transportation. So if I'm doing hitchhiking, of course, we will talk all the time. But if you take the bus or the train or the plane, usually you mind your own business, because you don't want to disturb people. Maybe you don't want to be disturbed, but as well, you don't want to disturb them. You don't want, you're thinking, oh, but if I say hi, what they will think? Again, they will think maybe I'm hitting on them, or I don't know, maybe I'm going to ask something. And in many countries it's like this, unfortunately. But no, you can try. Of course, some people will be happy, some people will not want to talk to you. It's okay, just try if you feel like it. And then you see the reaction. If the person answers you, and not just for being polite, but seems interesting, keep going. If not, it's okay. At least you've tried, no problem. So there are things like this that change you. And that's why I encourage people to travel. And it changes your mentality. For example, I'm thinking as well, I don't have kids. I don't know if I will ever have, since I'm just about traveling for now. But I'm thinking if one day I do have kids, as soon as they will be old enough to understand things, I want to take them to a poor country so they see, because wherever I will be living, I don't know what will be my situation, but for sure there will be some people with more money, some people with less money. And almost everybody is thinking, especially as a kid, like, oh, I don't have enough, like, look, the others, what they have, So if I take them to a poor country, they will realize the luck they have, whatever I'm giving them. And that's the thing, like, you shouldn't only compare to the people next to you, but people around the world. And yeah, there is always, again, some people who are less lucky than you. So even people who are watching us now, like anybody, even somebody quite poor, if I have phone, if I have internet, they're already much luckier than many others, So yeah, just try to be happy with your life. And yeah, you can look at what's going on around, but to learn from it and to try to improve, but not for being jealous, So yeah, Absolutely. So you can learn many things this way. And that's why I like what you're doing, because yeah, I think people who are following you, they can learn a lot from listening to those people. And yeah, you can just listen randomly, but if you actually pay attention, you can learn a lot and improve your life. So good job to you.
Thank you. One last question before we take some questions from our viewers. So like your shoe story, if you could tell us some story, some really memorable story from your travel time, one that has really stuck with you.
Okay. So there are so many, of course, it's hard to choose. Yeah. But so I will go maybe with one of the first ones. And of course, when it's at the beginning, it marks you even more. But even now, after so many years, it's still, I still really like it. So it's back in 2005 during my first long trip. So this was not when I was really a traveler, for months traveling, hitchhiking. I made actually, so 2005, I try to remember because so many events, So I used to be actually a sales representative. Many people call this a businessman. But things happened. I started to change my mind. I started to not like this way of doing things. I mean, I respect people who do it, but just I realized it was not for me anymore. And so I decided to stop this job. The day after I was done with my contract, of course I knew like 2 months before maybe it was fine. The day after, I was taking a flight to go to North America for 3 months. This was my first time traveling by myself, and I went all in for 3 months. So like 3 weeks in Canada, 2 months in the US, and 1 week in Mexico. And so coming back to the particular story I wanted to mention, when I reached Mexico, so I had been traveling from the US by bus. As I said, at that time I was not hitchhiking. So I was traveling. It took almost 24 hours to reach the capital city. When I arrived there, I go to the metro station. I had booked a youth hostel. And I'm going to the metro station to try to see how to reach my hostel. So I could speak just a bit Spanish from school, but little. So I look at that big map of, and I was not well traveled. So I was looking at that map of metro lines, trying to understand. I see I have to change lines. So it's a bit complicated as a new traveler. So I'm looking, and that's it. I'm just looking, trying to understand. And I'm with at that time, I had a suitcase, actually not just a backpack, I had a real suitcase plus another big bag. And then there is a woman who comes to me. See, you're frozen.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, she was maybe 40, 50, something like this. I was around 20. So she's 25. She comes to me and she doesn't talk. See, you're frozen again? Okay. I'm going to keep going because I see it's frozen, but it seems it's working. Okay. So she hands me a ticket for metro. Okay. I'm a bit surprised, but okay, I take it. But I still look at the map because even though now I have a ticket, I didn't have a ticket yet, that's true. But I still don't know how to go, so I keep looking at the map. Few seconds later, she comes back, maybe 15, I don't know. I didn't expect her to come back, so I was not counting. So a few seconds, 15, I don't know. I guess she was looking at me. She comes back, she hands me a second ticket. And again, she leaves. Like, no hello, nothing. She gives me a ticket, she leaves. Like, okay, so I have 2 tickets. So I'm thinking, okay, I guess she's working here. It's a bit strange. She's giving me tickets for free, but okay, thank you anyway. Okay, so I still try to understand. She leaves, she comes back again, and then I see she's with 2 younger women. So later I learned they were her daughters. And then she hands me a 3rd ticket, and finally she starts to talk. So she wants to make sure I understand where I'm going, etc. And she offers her help to go with me to my hostel. So at first I'm like, no, I'm okay, but she insists. I'm like, okay, then let's go. So I go with them, and so the three of them, they offer to carry my luggage. I'm like, no, like, come on, like, I don't need that. So okay, we go all the way. So they take all the way. So they give me the tickets. They pay for their own tickets. We change line 3 times, and finally we reach the hostel. And even when we arrive there, at the doorstep, they actually offered me to stay with them. They're like, but why do you want to stay here? You can actually stay with us. At that time, to be honest, I was because thinking, oh, this is a bit strange, you know. And yes. For some reasons, like America don't have the best reputation about safety. I think, oh, maybe this is a trick, you know, why they would do that for me? They don't know me, they accompany me, they wanted to carry my luggage. No, yeah. So I'm a bit, they seem nice, but no, it's okay, thank you. But just give me your contact and we'll see. They didn't have phone number, they gave me their address. So I took their address and I said, okay, I will try to come back, to come to your house. So I did go to my hostel. And the day after, I decided to check by myself what it was about. So I decided to go to their house to try to find it. So at that time, it was not so easy. I didn't have smartphone, etc. But eventually, I found their address and I found their house. And yeah, actually, they were really legit. And the woman explained me that she wanted to help me. And she saw I was with all that luggage. And she was a bit worried for me that maybe somebody would want to rob me. So that's why she decided to go all the way to the hostel with me. And they are really nice. They even offered me to travel with them. And yeah, now I'm still in touch through social networks with them. So this is something like they had no idea what it was. I didn't even ask for help, nothing. And they came to me. So this is probably the best example I have. But in a way, it's as well just one example of what kind of adventures can happen to you when you're traveling.
Right. People are nice everywhere.
Yeah, people are nice, and even with your neighbors, people can be nice as well. Just because usually you don't need help, so you're not looking for help, and sometimes you don't even need to talk. Just if you look a bit lost, you know, like looking around, like maybe people will stop and ask you, like, "Hey, what's going on? Can I do something for you or whatever?" So yeah, if you look like around, or if you have a map, things like this, people come to you much more easily. And if they don't come, don't hesitate to ask. Again, if they don't want to help you, it's okay. Maybe they don't have time, or they don't need any reason. Maybe they don't speak your language, or maybe they are shy. But you can try. Yeah, if they help you, just keep that in mind. Keep in mind the good things happening.
Right, absolutely. Coming to some questions from our viewers. Few tricks for cheap traveling.
Few tricks. There are so many. So first, okay, I would say inform yourself. Learn the different ways to travel, because there are many ways, like there are many people. So it really depends on many things. It depends of how much time you have, how much money, what you want to do, if you have some commitments, if you're traveling alone, etc. So I would say inform yourself, and then choose what is right for you. Because really, I cannot, like, for example, sometimes people ask me, how much time should I spend in this place? Or how much money do I need for that? I cannot honestly answer you, because it really depends on you. I can give like hints, but I cannot say exactly, you know. So I would say, yeah, like try to see. If you want to make a long-term trip, like, okay, I would say you don't have to do like me. For me, it's like a lot extreme. So I don't recommend what I'm doing like to most people, but to make a long trip, I would recommend like long trip, at least 1 month, if possible 3-6 months. That's really great. If you do once in your life, 3 months, 6 months, it's already really good. But before doing a good big trip, try to travel nearby, so you can check it's good for you, because sometimes you see things and you see the positive sides, and it's mainly positive. But of course, it's not easy 24/7, you know. Sometimes you're physically tired, sometimes you're mentally tired. So you have to make sure this is right for you. So start with a first trip in a place next to you that speaks the same language as you, that has the same culture. Start somewhere in your region, in your country, and then maybe go farther and farther again, you know. So I think this is very important. And then if things happen, something not so good happen, learn from it. Like, you can always learn. Like, for example, the hitchhiking thing, I was actually very bad at first. Like now, some people say I'm like a god of hitchhiking. Like it's true now, it's really easy for me. But at first, I was really, really bad. Like I started like late in the day. I was at a place where like there was too much traffic light with many directions, wearing dark, so people would not see me, like many things wrong. So you learn on the way. You learn reading things, watching things, and you learn from your own experience as well. So that would be the main thing, I guess. I could say, like, not knowing the person. Generally speaking, I would say, yeah, like read, watch, and think about what's good for you, and make a try first. And if it's not working, it's okay. At least you've tried.
Yes, definitely. Another question: who sponsors you to visit so many countries?
So I don't have a sponsor. I don't have somebody paying me. My trips don't cost too much because, as I said, I do a lot of hitchhiking, a lot of couch surfing. Now, of course, I still need some money. So for that money, it depends. Like when I started, I had money I had saved from when I was a businessman. Then as well, lately in the last years, now it's stopped because of the pandemic. So we'll see if it restarts. But for 3 years, I had a part-time online job that I could do like from anywhere. So this, I was just answering some chats like on customer service, and I would make some money with this. That was really good. Like for example, when I was in India, I would still make money. And I have some luck that my job was based in France, so I'm still getting those euros even though I'm traveling away. So this, I would say, but in general, actually, that's a tip for somebody I forgot to mention. That's good. This question makes me think about it. For somebody who actually want to travel for very long term, try to find a job online. Like there are many jobs, so customer service, sales, translation, writer, many things you can do online. And more, and even more now because of pandemic. And thanks to the pandemic, there is always a bright side, as we said. So this is the main bright side, I guess. Many jobs can now be done online. Some companies are actually pushing it. And so this way you can actually make money while you're still traveling. Either like during the day you stop from time to time to work, or you keep a few hours a day to do it. So this is a really good way. And so in my case, and one more way for me for traveling. So I started, when I was doing the 80 months, it was really fully for myself. I was not publishing online, just I had my own private Facebook. Maybe I would post once a month, even less. But people told me, oh, why don't you share your stories? We would like, maybe we don't have a chance to travel, so we would like to see how it is. As well, some people were very nice with me, partly to be nice with me, but partly because they wanted to give a good image of their country. And so then when I came back to France after those 80 months, I was like, yeah, like I should start blogging for those two kinds of people. So that's what I'm doing now. I've been doing it for 2 years and a half. And I'm not doing it as a job. I don't.
Can you hear me?
You're back. Okay, yeah. What I was saying?
Sorry, please continue. Jobs. You were talking about jobs.
Yeah. Okay, so how to travel? To finish with this. So now with the blogging, 2 years and a half. So I don't make money with it, and I don't want it in the way that I don't want. Because okay, we pay you to do this, so I don't really do what I want. I want to travel for myself first, and then if people like it, that's even better. But the thing that I'm getting from blogging, I'm sometimes getting things for free. I'm not getting money, but I'm getting things for free. Sometimes I'm getting, because I said I love to spend the night at local people that I meet through couchsurfing or that I even meet randomly. But sometimes I can be very tired physically and I need some rest, or I need to do many things online. And I don't want to go to your home if I'm going to spend the whole time online, you know. So in this case, I try to find a hotel that is okay to host me for free in exchange of doing things for them. It can be about the blogging, or it can be like photography, things like this. I have a 360 camera, and many times I do 360 pictures for them. So this, and in India, one thing I did, so I was in Rajasthan. I wanted to go to Nagaland for Hornbill Festival. But the thing is, just before Hornbill, there was another festival. There were different festivals in Rajasthan, like Pushkar, or a few others, Bundi Festival as well, and another one. So then after that, I didn't have time basically to make my travel in Rajasthan, and then to go all the way to Nagaland hitchhiking. It will take a lot of time, and it will not be fun just traveling for 4,000 kilometers maybe. So I contacted the tourism office of Nagaland, and I offered them to sponsor my trip. So again, no money, but I told them I'm willing to come for a Hornbill Festival. Usually I travel hitchhiking, but this time I will need to take a plane. So I would like you to take care of the plane, to pay for my flight. If you can take care of my accommodation, even better. I can do it by myself. I know how to find. But if you do it, then I will have more time to dedicate to your festival, to post about your festival. And so they accepted. So for the whole 10 days of the festival, they made me reach there just on time. I spent 10, 11 days with them, and they actually took care of everything, like the transportation, accommodation, even food, and everything. Wow. So that was really nice, and yeah. And this way, and I was not only publishing on my account, but as well I was like a photographer for them. Like I would take pictures, but at the end of the festival, I gave them all my pictures on my videos, and they could use them for their own content. And when I was posting stories on my account, they would reshare. And this way, they would get content that they will not necessarily get by themselves, because I have this way of interacting with people. I have no problem to go to talk to locals and to go to talk to foreigners. So sometimes I was showcasing the festival by itself, like the people doing a show. But sometimes I was going to interview foreigners. So yeah, and this way it was a win-win situation for both.
Right, that's amazing. Moving on to another question, which cuisine have you enjoyed the most from everywhere that you have traveled?
So this is very personal, of course. We all have different tastes, but in my case, it will be the Japanese cuisine. Why Japanese for me? Because, well, first of all, it's not spicy. Sorry, India, but I have big problem with spicy food. So some countries have been a bit difficult for me. I've survived. I've lived 5 months in India, so no problem. You can find eventually food that you like. But in Japan, it was easy, you know. I didn't have to be like scared all the time. I would eat, ask many questions, like I would know it's fine. So, and as well, many things with fish and seafood in Japan. And it's quite light actually, so it's not so big quantity. So if you want to eat a lot, usually in your plate you don't have so much, but it's actually enough. Usually we eat too much actually. And now that I'm back in France, actually I gained 5 kilos. I'm eating too much. But yeah, in Japan, yeah. So I really like the Japanese food. But then, if I was not French, maybe I would say French food. French food is really good. Just I'm French, you know, so I like what is from other countries. But I still really like French food. Actually, sometimes people ask me, don't you miss France for being on the road for so long? And if there was one thing I would be missing, that would be French food, actually. Like sometimes I still miss it. But I think the food is maybe the thing that most people miss from their country, because it's what you grew up with, you know, and like the taste, what you're used to.
Yes. I attempted making croissants during this quarantine. It wasn't perfect, but it's pretty good. I was very happy with it, and my parents loved it too. So
you baked them, you said, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, nice. I actually haven't baked. Actually, I'm French, but I'm not such a cook. I know how to cook. I've lived by myself, so I know how to make food. But yeah, like baking, haven't tried yet. One day I should. So good job.
Thank you.
Next time I come, make some, and I will tell you how they are.
Done. Just by the way, in the comments, there are a lot of people who are offering you a place to stay the next time you come to India. So you're sorted.
That's very nice. Yeah, I didn't check the comments, by the way, because I was trying to focus on what I would answer. But thank you for the comments.
No
and yeah, my visa is valid until October, but it may be too early to come back. So we'll see. But one day I need to come back because I only visited, I think, 6 states. So Rajasthan, Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, Meghalaya, and West Bengal. But I had planned to go almost everywhere. So I will come back for sure. So thanks. You guys have my contact. So since I didn't see the chat, you can write me to my page and yeah, we'll be in touch.
Your stay is sorted. So one question is, did you have any negative experiences while traveling?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I had none. I had very little, but of course I had some. As I said before, you have to see the bright side. Like in every single situation, there is a bright side to find. Sometimes when this happens to you, but eventually after you will think about it and you will see the good things. Not that I'm saying that it's ideal to get into those bad situations, but you can make the most of it. Then it depends how you react. And it can be that usually you will learn something from it. So maybe you will avoid to be in the same situation. Sometimes it could have been avoided, sometimes no, but sometimes it could have. So, for example, it didn't happen to me, but let's say you got robbed your phone while you were walking on the street in a touristic area. You were with your phone, like a fancy phone in your hand, like very easy for people to see. So it's a bit sad that you have to be careful, but that's the way it is in some places. So if it happens to you, well, the next time at least you will be more careful not to take it out anywhere. Maybe you will save more your contacts, like in case, because the thing is, of course, money is important, but sometimes what is more important is like the memories. So usually when you lose your phone or your camera, it's like all my pictures. And yeah, those pictures, if you didn't back them up, you cannot get them back. So yeah, like you can learn from this. And even if you don't learn, usually you will learn, I think. But even if you don't, you will get stories to tell. So now it will be hard. I have some in mind, but it will take too much time. Again, I talk a lot, as you see. So, but I had a few bad stories, bad adventures, but they make great stories, So always something positive to get out of it.
I can hope so, and I hope to read more of his stories. Let's come back to you, and please tell us more about you have a very specific logo with a story behind it. So please tell us what your logo means.
Okay, so this is my logo, because we had talked about it. Maybe I will just show it again. 1 sec.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is my logo here. Well, with the light you don't see so well, but yeah,
we can see it.
Okay, so just to explain a bit, so this logo, so that I made by myself, even if I'm not a pro of design things like this, I just learn online everything. So basically the meaning, there are different things. So first you can see, so it's a globe, like the world, okay? Because obviously I'm a world traveler and citizen. There is the shape of a puzzle. If you look closely, you can see it's like a puzzle. Why this? So I think I have to explain, because almost nobody can get it, but at least I see it very well. Basically, those puzzle pieces, like at first they are all like different shapes, but then, and by themselves they are worth, but not as much as when they are all together, and they all connect to each other. And the beauty is even better when you finish the puzzle, when you have all the pieces together. So that's the idea a bit of a puzzle, like we are all connected, even if we look different. Each, on the each puzzle piece is different. We look different color, different shape, everything. But in the end, we are all the same, and we are part of the whole thing, and we are stronger together. And this, and then you have actually so this is my picture, my face. But in the back, you probably cannot see on the picture, but it's actually the world. You can see the shape of the world, and which happens on my face. And then what else? This is actually this is a globe standing. I think we call that standing globe. Like when you have, like, usually as a child you have this. I mean, some child have this, some children, to learn. You have, like, you can make it turn, and that's a way to learn about the world. So because I want my page to be a way to learn about the world. So that's why it's like you're turning it, and you can learn, like turning my my post, you can learn. And then explore, feel good, because I want people to explore and feel good. So basically that's it. And this is like Shaka sign, it's like all good. Yeah. I'm not a surfer, like surfer the sport, but I learned that when I was in California. People from Hawaii, for example, they do a lot of this. It's like, all good. Like some people, they are just randomly on the streets. They meet people, like, what's up? So that's the idea.
So my next question to you is, what is your biggest passion?
My biggest passion, my biggest passion would be traveling, meeting people, but it's learning, like having a feeling that I live everywhere, that I meet different people. I really don't want to get bored, so I love to learn new things, do new things. And basically, if I have to say one thing, maybe the people. Like I love people from different cultures, and so that's why I travel. Of course, I love to visit beautiful sites. I even post things about this, but as you can see, like I post about beautiful sites, but about people as well, because for me, people are very important. That's what makes you remember the place even more. And that's why I have something that sometimes people are surprised I'm interested by it, but for me, it's connected. I like as well football. And especially like big events like football World Cup. So some people think like, why? Like travels, World Cup, sports, it's different. Usually it's not the same kind of people. But World Cup is different. It's not, I like football even local, but I like football. I love football World Cups. Why? Because World Cups is not about only football. I think you're frozen. I don't know if I am. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So people meeting again and like having fun. Like we all go to represent our country. We are actually, it's very interesting World Cups because you're very patriotic on one hand. Like most people would be like me now, like wearing their jerseys, things like this on one hand. But on the other hand, you don't hate the other one. You actually love, okay, during the game, you're for your country. But before the game and after the game, you're just friends. And you're taking pictures together, you're exchanging contacts, things like this. So it's really like the world having a big party all together. So that's what I really like. And my last event was the Women's World Cup. This was the first time I go to a Women's World Cup. And I really like it because, again, you had that spirit. Before, it was not so popular, so it was not the same celebration. It was just football. Now it's as well a celebration. And for that Women's World Cup, there was something more. There was something like, for example, when I post about football, because I like football, but when I was posting about the Women's World Cup, I was proud to do it. Because it was sending a signal, like it's not only about men. You're back. Can you hear me, Angela?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. And it was frozen. You couldn't see me or you were frozen?
It just paused for a bit. Please continue.
Okay. So I was saying World Cups, and I'm yet to attend my first Olympic Games. I was supposed to attend my first Olympic Games this year in Japan. It was planned already for many years. It's not going to happen, but then next year it should be. So because I think Olympic Games is the same idea basically. So I'm looking forward for this as well. So travels, and then I would say this kind of big international sports events. But basically in the end for the same idea. People together, friendly to each other, proud of your origins, but very happy to discover other ones. And learning from each other.
Amazing. Coming to our last few questions. How did you get in touch with Amit and get to know about Mitti Ke Rang?
Okay, so I got to know about Mitti Ke Rang through Amit, yes. I think, actually didn't tell me, I guess he's your founder? He's the founder of Mitti Ke Rang? Or? Yes. Okay, so I got to know Amit through couchsurfing actually. I was in Kolkata at that time and he was traveling there. So I think he contacted me to offer to meet up. And then eventually I organized on couchsurfing, you can meet one-on-one. So on couchsurfing, I mentioned the surfing hosting, like staying with people. One thing I didn't mention, which is good, we're talking about it now, you can as well just meet people. Even if you're not traveling, even if you don't have a couch or you're not comfortable to host people, you can just meet them. So with Amit, that's what we did. So you can do like one-on-one meetup or you can do group meetups. So when he offered me to meet, I was like, yeah, sure. And there were one or two other people who wanted to meet me, so I was like, let's all meet together. So we had a small group meetings, and then he told me about Mitti Ke Rang. And I really like the idea. So I think now you change a bit the scope, and rightly so, because of pandemic. So you need to change some things. But your first idea was to promote women empowerment. And I really like it because obviously that's something I believe in since I was at the Women's World Cup. I am still ambassador for FIFA. But I started to partner with them, again, not working, just like this kind of partnership. And I started to partner with them for the World Cup. And so that was very important for me. And but women empowerment, when I was in Manipur, I went to Imphal, and there was an all-women market, for example, that is been like this for like very, very long. I think it's the longest in the world. And I think it's important because I think you were especially focusing on the widows and single women.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like of course, like it's good if a woman has a husband and everything is going well and everybody is happy. But unfortunately, too many people, I will not say many or little, I will say too many anyway. Too many women depend on their husband. And sometimes they don't get along, but they cannot live by themselves. They cannot go to somewhere else because they need that money. So that's why I think it's really good to try to help those women so they can have the life they want, they can have the life they deserve. And so right now I understand I think you were giving money for some people because they need like help right now. But your first idea was not about giving money, but about helping, giving tools. I would say, I don't know if you know this expression, I'm not quoting the expression, but the idea is like it's better to, instead of giving a fish to someone, it's better to teach the person to fish. And for me, this is really good. This is really important because many people will just ask for fish, like, okay, help me now. But so if it's a matter of day of life, okay, like now you really need money now to survive, okay, like now with the pandemic. But in general, it's better to learn things. It will take a bit more time to learn, but then it will be much more useful for you. So that's how I discovered Mitti Ke Rang, and that's why I like it. So when you offered to make this interview, I was really happy to do it. I made some more research to be sure, and then I was like, yeah, definitely, because that's the thing. Like you were interviewing me, but for me, like we are supporting each other, and so good job for what you're doing, and keep up the good job.
Thank you so much. Last few questions again. Please, for our Indian viewers, if you could tell us more about France as a country and what you love about it.
Okay, so this one you had told me you would ask me, so I tried to prepare a little bit. So let me see. I have a few pictures to go along with what I will say. So a few pictures and I will explain. So there are many things. France is actually quite well known, so many things you know already. But just to sum up and to maybe show a few new things. So France is very famous, of course, for its monuments. So the number one being Eiffel Tower, of course. France is the number one visited country in the world, by the way. So Eiffel Tower, that was built actually for Universal Expo, by the way, a little bit of history. I just remember it now, I forgot to prepare it before. So it was for Universal Expo, again, something for the world. And then they decided to keep it. And funny things, actually, it's a bit a side note, but it keeps helping with the idea. I'm just thinking about it again now. This Eiffel Tower, again, was supposed to be only for the Universal Expo. And at that time, many people didn't like it. They're like, what is this ugly thing, so big compared to other buildings? And they really wanted it to be destroyed after the Expo. And in the end, they kept it, and now people love it, foreigners and French people. So that's the thing we have to try to keep in mind when we analyze things. Don't try to see things only about how your own personal point of view and of current society, especially when you look at things happening before. So try to see the world picture. So what was the side? But anyway. Then we have the famous museums. So this we see the architecture, but the Louvre, of course. And with Mona Lisa, very famous, that you can see here. And then we have a lot of nature as well. So you have, for example, the French Riviera. Côte d'Azur in French. So this is the southeast of France. Sorry. So you have like a Cannes, Nice, things like this. Then you have mountains as well. So this is Chamonix.
Yes.
You can visit during winter. You can go skiing, or during summer as well. You can go hiking. Then you have, let me remember how we call this. Just 1 sec, please.
No
Because
problem.
some names I know in French, but I don't know in English, you know. Oh yeah, creeks.
No problem.
So you have creeks like this. 1 sec. Okay. So creeks like this. This is Calanque de Cassis, near Marseille, in the south of France. So you see, you have like those limestones, and the sea. This is the sea coming in. Then you have as well. This is river canyons. Okay. So this is the river canyon. It looks quite similar, but it's not the same. This is a river going through. You can go, for example, kayaking. So it's a river canyon. This one is Gorge du Verdon. Then you have lakes, like Dancy.
Wow.
Okay. We have fields, like we are famous for the lavender fields.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. It's in the south of France, in Provence, near Marseille, near Aix-en-Provence. And we have more, like this is another thing. I was not sure how to describe it in English, but it's like we call that Colorado Provençal, like basically a small Colorado, you know, like that thing in the US. Much smaller, but still nice to visit. And then we have gastronomy, of course, like this, you know, wine, bread, cheese, many things. We have some festivals. Oh yeah, gastronomy. Actually, this is part of the World Intangible Heritage by UNESCO. A few years ago, UNESCO decided that the world culture was not only about monuments, but as well about intangible things, you know, like not material, not physical. So so now that French gastronomy is part of it. Another one that is part of it, we have some festivals that are part of this heritage. So this is an example. We have like some giants. This is normal people, human beings, and this is a giant.
Yes.
So you have really cool festivals in India, by the way, but we have some too. And then we have perfumes. Well, perfumes, you know, like Chanel, Dior, things like this. And finally, there are more, but finally, in my selection, we have fashion. Okay, I took myself as an example. This is me. Here I am, magic.
Exactly.
So fashion is very famous, of course. So I think that's it about France I wanted to mention. And we are able to welcome you.
So much.
I think France is not famous for speaking English. We used to have a bad reputation for people not being able to speak English, but to be honest, it's much better now, like in many countries in the world. Why? Because now you have internet, you have things like Netflix, you have YouTube, Instagram. Many people use English now to communicate with others, like not in France, but you know, online.